Welcome, everyone. I'm Dave Luehr, the founder of Elite Body Shop Solutions. I'm hanging out here with our training manager, Brent Henkle. The last episode, we just talked about how to improve communication in your body shop using the tasking feature in CCC One. Today, we're going to take that a step further, or actually, Brent's going to take this a step further and talk about some cool ways you can use the CCC One app, right, to improve communication between management and the technicians. So what do you got for us today, Brent?
Hey, Dave. Thank you for having me. Really got a pretty new thing, fairly new for a lot of people. And number one, because when there's new stuff, we don't always figure it out and test it. So one thing I want to let you guys know, when you implement something, do it one time and see how it works for your team. Figure out what works, what doesn't work. Okay, that's the biggest thing we talk about in training is don't do a fire hose and don't try to do everything. So I really just want to talk about the tasking feature and how it's not just for the administrative team, not just for the parts department. It's actually for the technician. And
some of our mastermind members have been reaching out asking about how to use this tool. So this is very timely.
Yeah, so the tool's got some great features. You have a lot of controls on it. Okay, so there's some setups you want to do. I'll talk about that a little bit later, but let me just show you the beauty of it. And really the biggest thing for me is keeping the technician's hands on the car. And that means staying in the stall, staying on the RO, and not having to look through paperwork to see what's going on. So I want to show you how they can just see it real time, which is
the only time we're making any money in this business is when a technician's hands are touching a car, right?
Exactly. So let me share my screen here real quick. Let's see if I'm good enough at this. It's kind of my first day, but hopefully you can see that, Dave. Can you see this? It looks like a iPhone screen.
That looks like an iPhone screen. Yep, it sure does.
Yeah, a lot of green on here. If you look at the green dots, you get your attention to them. Those are received parts. The things that are red are things that aren't here yet.
Oh, okay, so we talked about that in the last episode. Green is good, red not so good.
100%. So if you moved it over, if you grabbed your screen and moved it over, it would show you what the ETA is on anything that's not received yet. So if there's an ETA put on that part, you would know immediately without even looking at a note. As long as they fill the back orders out in the parts area, they'll see individually when they're supposed to be here. Pretty easy feature. Everybody knows what's going on, and you're not going to bother the parts department to see when this part's supposed to be here. Pretty slick. So even without a note, yeah.
And so technicians could have access to this information and know if there's a part missing or not.
Actually, this is me using a technician ID at one of our shops.
Okay.
And they were out of CCC users, but I was able to add an app user or a mobile app user. So they can't make a lot of changes. They can make some, can do new tasks, can move things through the production schedule, which is pretty slick if you let them. Okay. So you decide what they can.
You just got to go in the configure menu and set up the rules. I got you.
Yep. And those rules are on the news area, which is ccc1.com.
Okay.
Got to go in there and you got to do that setup. We might do another segment on how to do that. We'll see. But it's quite a few screens, but it's not bad. Once it's set up, you're good to go. Okay. But you can't single out a single tech. You got to make them all the same. Either all of them can update repair plans or none of them. Okay. So you can't play favorites, but that's okay. We should just train them all and be real time as far as that goes. So anyway, but the screen you're looking at here, if you notice, I've got, hopefully you can see I've got parts. There's a bunch of tabs here at the top. The work would be their work order if it was assigned to them. There's a checklist feature we can get into. You can actually see the estimate lines. You can go see photos, and you can even see tasks. Okay, so what I want to show you is, in this case, I'm looking at this and I'm like, wait, I'm missing a part. And I scrolled through and I can't find the part. They're all here. And I'm like, oh, that's right. I never got that supplement ready. Okay. So now it never happened before. So what I could do is run up front and say, hey, I need you to order that part. Or I could go find the blueprinter and say, hey, I need you to order that part. Interrupt two people trying to figure out where they're at.
We're trying to improve communication today, right?
Right. So the biggest thing for you guys is interruptions, and not everybody sits at their desk all day. Active people are moving around. Think about the time I can save by not having to find somebody right now. Okay, so I want to put this in their task list, just like it's a sticky note, but it's going to go wherever they have access to CCC, including they can see their tasks on the mobile app. okay? Just the admin people with CCC IDs, okay? Which should be enough. I can send this to my parts person. I can send it to my estimator or my blueprinter. I can send it to anybody that needs to expedite this. I can send it to my manager who says, hey, every time you write a supplement, it goes through me. That's cool too, okay?
I hope you're going to show us how to do that.
100%. That's the next step here. So basically, the first thing I want to do is I want to take a photo of the part I want, or somehow put something on there, right? Whether it's a photo of an illustration, photo of the part that's bad that I forgot to order, or a part, I broke the tab off. That never happens, okay? And take a photo and say, I need this part. How cool is that? So if you go in the upper right and hit these 3 dots up here, it's not exactly visible, okay? But you can see it when you hit those 3 dots. What'll happen is it will take you to a screen down here at the bottom where you can do 3 different things. You could take a photo from the camera on your phone, pretty slick.
Okay.
If you already took a picture, you could load it from your library, okay? Or you could add a task.
Ah.
So you can add all this stuff right from here, okay? You hit the 3 dots are the magic, okay? So you go ahead and hit those. Once you hit those, I hit new task this time. I can put a task type in, which might be order parts. I can assign it to someone, put a due date, and maybe some comments, okay? So, just like the chef shows, I went ahead and did this right here. It says, please order the bumper stay, see photo for reference. So right there, I can say there's a picture of it. I broke it, or it's not working, it's not staying like I thought. I need to order another one. Cool. So when I do that, I can pop back to my it takes me right back to my screen. I can go to the photos if I wanted to. And even right there, there's a little place to add photos, or I could hit the 3 dots again up here. Super easy, very flexible. Take a photo, loads it right up into the file.
Love it.
Yeah, it's really that easy. There's nothing else to talk about. Just kidding. All right. So anyway, so this is what happens, right? So as I'm looking at the photos on the file, I can see recent photos. Here's what happens. My task is where that will actually be visible. So for the person I sent it to. So if I send it to the parts manager, whoever I send it to, and I can do more than one. I can say, hey, this is an emergency. I'm sending it to everybody, right? I can do one for the manager, one for the parts guy. I can just make sure that everybody touches this thing.
That's why they love you, Brent. Everybody's getting a communication today.
We're going to Oprah this thing. Everyone gets a task. Anyway, so they can go in and see that task right there. It'll take them right into the file if they want. Cool? All right. The other thing I want you to know is when you do set these things up, let me go backwards here real quick. There is a setup screen you can go to with these dots in the upper left. You go to settings. When you go to the setup, I want you guys to turn this on. It's a time and stamp photos feature. Very slick. So when you do it, it'll put a time and date stamp on that photo.
Oh, that's great.
Really, really nice. Face ID, that's your option. And then checklist is pretty cool. It looks like you can do that in Spanish. I haven't tried it, but there's some cool stuff coming down the pipe. So
that's very cool.
Cool stuff, right? So the other thing I want you to know is here's that settings screen I talked about. Okay. I can change my update. I can go to CarWise. I can go to settings right here is what that was. Okay. So you can go and change that stuff anytime you want. That's for you, the user. Any questions?
I love it, man.
Here's an example of a task showing on this screen. There it is. Miscellaneous is the task. Once you double click on it, it's going to take them right. This is off the app. Okay. Takes it right there. It goes to Steve. He's got a test note, and he can actually just type on top of that. What he can also do, if you take a quick look at this, he can put done and test note. Okay. Here's the real cool feature of the app, though. I don't know how many of you like to type on a screen. I'm not a big fan of typing. I want to just talk and let it do the work. Remember, you've got a little microphone down there in the bottom right, and you can just click on it. As long as your cursor's where it's at, it'll just type in whatever you say. Please be brief, be specific, and don't speak in real country, because sometimes she doesn't understand you. Okay, so it's all good.
So those of us in the deep South may have a little bit of trouble with this.
Exactly. This is kind of a repeat a little bit from the previous one. You notice I flipped it to read. Read's the one that sent it to me, okay, to order it, and then I flipped it back, okay? I can do that as long as I'm an admin user. The text say, hey, just order it and tell me when it's going to be here, okay? You can't send that task back to a tech. Mm-hmm. However, you could just let them know, hey, it's on its way. And then when you do put an ETA or a back order date, they'll see that date. So they can just keep checking on it. So really cool features. The app lets you do a whole lot of stuff. We're going to explore some more features in the app to really make it where your tech can keep their hands on that vehicle and they don't have to walk away, try to find things, search for things. They know immediately if they're supposed to have it or not. So real slick.
This is good stuff, Brent. Anything else?
About all I have right now. So to set up the app, you need to go to CCC. They'll walk you through it. You kind of need to. There's some steps to do it. I'm more than happy to walk you through it, for you and your staff, and show you what it takes to get it added. It's really not hard, but there's some menus and screens you got to get to that maybe aren't as easy as a normal flow in CCC.
Okay, so those of you watching, if you need some help with this, we are always a resource for you. Reach out to Brent Henkle, Henkle, at elitebodyshopsolutions.com. I'm sorry that's so long, but that's how you get a hold of Brent. And
right.
We're happy to help you. And if you like this kind of training, leave us a comment or give us a thumbs up. We sure like to know if this information is helping you. Again, I'm Dave Luehr. This is Brent Henkle. Thank you for watching our training today. Take care.
Thank you, everyone.